you hear that? It's iced coffee. Grab it, get jacked up. It's time for another episode of The Block Talk with me, Jamie Taylor, and my guest today is Julie Duvall. Please say hello.
Hello, Jamie. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
I'm very excited to have you on the show. We met locally in a group full of excited, inspired women who create their own businesses and try to grow them here in our community, Little Rock and surrounding areas. Conway, specifically, is where you hail from. Tell us, we now know your name, but what you do and what your brand is and why you're here on the show.
Well, I own the cottage at Sunny Gap, sunnygap.com. It is a Arkansas-sourced bath product company. We make everything from soaps to shower steamers to bath bombs to lotions to potions to beard oil to sugar scrubs that are phenomenal. I get thank you notes still. And most of it is sourced here in Arkansas, at least 80% of it, and I take pride in the fact that it's all handmade. And the reason why, and there's a bigger reason why I started this company, how it came about was very unfortunate as far as what prompted it, but it has been a phenomenal venture, and I love what we've been able to do since we've started.
Right. And so it's funny because you said unfortunate, but I think that what both of you and I have, when we think about things that are unfortunate, I think we're thinking about what pain we encountered and what things we went through on the way to finding our purpose, because I feel like when you go through a fire, you at least come out refined, right? So that process might have been an unfortunate beginning, but it's kind of given you the strength to do what you're doing now, right?
It actually provides a stronger backbone to handle the daily and the long-term struggles that come with being a female business owner, and trying to grow a business fast to be able to change other people's lives.
Right. So brass tacks, the fact of the matter is you were in a bad way and you needed to do something that could create a business, not only to bring you income, but to feed your passion and give you a place to give back to other women. So tell us the story of basically, kind of in a nutshell at least, and I know people can reach out to you to get more of this in-depth story, directly with you in our limited time, but what would you say as far as when you first woke up and realized, hey, I've got something to give to this world and I'm tired of doing things the way I've been doing them? Tell me where you're at from that point to now.
In 2013, I was a manager of events nationwide for a medical nonprofit and traveled a lot. Early 2013, I got a phone call, my mother passed, and I'm the only daughter, and that was in Texas. So I kind of lost my perspective, I lost my job, and then I started not being able to keep it together. So I actually broke down emotionally. And then I found out 5 months later on Facebook that my father passed away. Ugh. And I hadn't spoken with him in about 15 years. And going down to his memorial service, I met a half-brother and half-sister that are 30 and 32 years my junior that I did not know existed. And I am close with them now as we speak.
That's so good.
And I was standing in a food pantry line during that summer. It was about as hot as it is now, which is just sweltering, as you can tell. And I was looking around at the people around me in this food pantry line in Southwest Little Rock, which is kind of known as being a little bit more adventurous as far as safety goes. And I saw all these people who were able-bodied and wanted to do something, but they just couldn't because they were either tethered by taking care of other family members with health issues or developmental issues, or they couldn't work normal, straight, 8 to 5 type hours. And I thought, well, if I ever had the opportunity to do something to give back, I was going to do it. And I would look for these types of people who need what I would call the high-risk hires, the first-time job seekers, the college kids working their way through school, people in recovery, domestic violence survivors, seniors with no safety net, people who need to work different hours or smaller, short bursts of hours because of their commitments to family or taking care of a home and additional family members.
Right.
And I had the pleasure and the opportunity a few months after all this happened in 2013 to start working for a very wonderful family and a great man who lost his wife a few years before, and he needed some help. And I worked for him for 4.5 years. He passed away in March of 18. And that was so difficult to handle because he was like a father figure and he was my best friend. People go, what's your relationship like with this man that you work for, 7 days a week? You see each other every day and live on holidays and spend holidays. I said, he's like my best friend. He's like the father figure I needed. our running joke was he's the daughter he never wanted. I'm the daughter he never wanted, and he's the father I never needed. And that was our little shtick. And so when he passed away, I was at a crux. I was like, okay, things are changing. I do not have the steady employment anymore. I inherited his beautiful dog through the will, this big old 110-pound golden doodle named Arnie. Hello, Arnie. And I decided to run with this because I made these soaps as kind of a thank you gift to people when my husband and I got married outside the country, and they loved them. He thought they were great. He said, you've got the opportunity now. This is the sign that you needed to let you know that this is something you should do.
Right.
And the whole purpose really is, besides to just grow a business and give something, a product of some use to people, is to take what is extra and give back to people who need it. Everything from, I like to primarily focus on people who have been in struggles emotionally or physically, whether it's domestic violence survivors, or it's people in recovery, or it's people in transitional housing, things like that, or in school. We do a lot of donations everywhere. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we'll be at a Passion for Fashion tea at Harbor Home, doing a big gift basket giveaway for them.
It's interesting because I find that most of the people I talk to here in Little Rock who have started a business, they love the climate here of the business. They love the ability to take something.
Organic.
Right. And it's like organic, so funny because so are your ingredients. And it's funny to see you take this thing that you're talking about that really has really low overhead. I mean, really you have to buy the materials, you have to have the talent, the idea, the ability to put this together.
And you have to have an open mind.
Right.
It takes a creativity and an artistry that I didn't realize that I had such in depth, and where I pull it from is just amazingly organic. Whether it's a flower that's growing outside that I just drove by, coming back from the store, that catches my eye, color, and then I'll do something with a swirl that will resemble it because I had inspiration.
Right.
Anything like your coffee. Right now, your iced coffee, the color is so beautiful. It's like a butterscotch. I think I'm going to probably make some type of beautiful butterscotch soap in the next week or so.
We can call it summer iced coffee. But I will tell you this, though. What I think is interesting about this is I had come across a business similar to what you do, except for different because it's not soaps. But a while back, and this is before I ever moved to Arkansas, there was a program where you could, if you had been involved in sex trafficking, if you had been trafficked and rescued from that situation, they would put these women through this program where they would learn to make these bracelets, and it would give their hands, something to do and take that anxiety, and it would work it out because they had their mind on something and they could do this thing with their hands, even if it was just this thing.
Sure.
It gave them something to concentrate on, something to focus on. They made something beautiful. They felt good about themselves. It's very similar to what you're doing with these soaps. When you told me who you were hiring and why you were hiring them.
I have done some contract hires of probably about less than half a dozen so far, but as the business grows, it will require more people and probably more steady people as far as steady type schedules. It's just been wonderful because I know that some people need something to do when they're having such a difficulty in transitioning in their lives. Plus, the bigger picture is because I studied social work in college, and I did some internships with some social service agencies in Texas. And I want to do a whole process to where there is actually a social worker that would come in once a month, meet with all the part-time employees or contract employees, see if there's some type of emergency need that they are not expressing, such as like they're having a utility issue or they don't have food in the pantry, and then take care of that for them. Find out and then create maybe a food pantry that would be the cottage owned for them and their families, so that also supplements their pay.
It's funny that you should say that because the UAMS chancellor was here just a couple of hours ago, and he said that at UAMS they just now started a food pantry there because some of their employees actually are dealing with food insecurity. I mean, it's crazy to think that the #1 state in agriculture across the nation has food insecurity, but just like anything else, we struggle with all the same problems that everybody else in the nation does. I think the difference is our residents are made up of people like you and like him and like many others that have come on the show that have a true passion to look in the eyes of the people they're walking by in the street and say, what is wrong? And how can I help you get from where you are to where you need to be?
A lot of the culture these days, social media, things like that, is about dividing and conquering, separating people by either ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic, financial status. And when it all comes down to it, it's about looking people in the eye and treating them as an equal and saying, do I have something that I can help you with? Or could you help me with this?
That's the key right there, because nobody ever asks for that. And
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
got goosebumps
And
big time when you said
and
that, because
it's pride. It's
Yep.
pride and
fear.
And it's a fear of the rejection. And literally, people will say this as the day is long. If you want to know, if you want something from Julie, just ask her, because if she doesn't give you exactly what you want, she'll give you just about almost, or something that she thinks is probably better.
Yeah.
Because I will literally give the shirt off my back. I will give you my last dollar, because I know that I'll be okay. Because if I need to ask somebody else, I can.
What's interesting about it too is that I was kind of giggling there for a second, because you talked about how people segregate other people into groups, and I was thinking, you don't. You just separate them into clean and dirty. I've got some
absolutely.
soap. Yeah.
Well, everybody gets dirty.
Yes.
Everybody's filthy. And the suds they're almost therapeutic, because I really focus on colors and fragrance and contents, and so that it's more therapeutic, even, focusing scents geared towards men, geared towards children, geared towards young women, or mature women like myself.
Right.
Everybody likes different types of scents and colors, and I like to gear that specifically towards different demographics, so that they get even more out of it than just like using a soap in a bath.
Right. And that's the big thing, because this experience that you have in the bathroom, and this is just like, I'm just going to say point blank, I'm a busy woman. I work all the time. I work out all the time. When I get in the shower or the bath, I want to relax, but I don't think about it when I'm at the store. I just grab whatever's on the counter that looks cheaper, is on sale, and then off I go, and then I wonder why I'm not relaxed when I get out of the bathtub. So it's kind of your fault that I spend more time in the shower now, and it's because I bought a bunch of shower steamers at the coffee shop, and I bought a bunch of other things that, to market my business and brand my business, and I thought, this is incredible that you're just making these things, and people in this town have an opportunity, just as a thank you gift, to buy whatever their cool little design is, and people love to feel like you custom made them something, and that is what you do all day. You custom make things.
I make actually a woman that I've met through our business group several months ago reached out to me and said that she was looking for baby shower hostess gifts, and I said, well, tell me a little bit about the theme. She said, well, it's a bee theme. I said, I got it. I said, I'll have it to you in a week. And it was honeycomb soaps with
literally about to say honeycomb.
with
That's
24
perfect.
with 24 karat gold mica in it. Fragranced with oat's milk and honey and oatmeal shea butter and vegan kosher glycerin.
That is
It's
amazing.
beautiful soaps.
Yeah.
And I really do take a lot of pride. I get I don't pat myself on the back, but I get kind of shoulders get a little back when I make some really pretty products and that I'm proud of. And I won't sell anything that I'm not proud of. And if and I usually will not, unless you beg me.
Yeah.
Like, I want that.
One
I'm
time
like,
you gave me some free ones because you didn't like them. It
like-
was awesome.
I was like, they're free. Free sets.
Yes, but here's the thing that's really exciting, and I want to make sure that we get across to the listeners while we have the opportunity, is you have built this literally from, I'm going to make this thing, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to take this little piece of my heart, I'm going to craft this thank you, and I'm going to give it to these people for hosting me and my family during this special time. And it turned into how you are running your life.
It's international now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
It's a business. It's international, and it's local to Arkansas, and it's locally sourced, and it's owned by a woman. There's so many wonderful things about this company.
And the crazy part about it, most people don't understand. They're like, you're from Southeast Texas. How did you get to Arkansas? 1999, I realized that the place where I grew up, where I was there, I came back after I worked a few years in D.C. and said, I'm not meant to stay here. So I had a job opportunity in 3 different cities. One with Little Rock. Opened up a map, closed my eyes, put my finger down, and landed on Little Rock. I bought a car, colors blue and rust. The trunk held down by a bungee cord. Drove here. Had a place to stay for 3 days, not knowing a soul, and I've been here 20 years as of April. And I consider myself the ultimate accidental Arkansan, and I am proud of it.
Yeah, I'm super
And I
proud
love
of it too.
this community. And I mean, I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I've grown a lot.
And I'm proud
I
to
thank
know
this
you,
community.
because I think we should all be really proud to know you, because you've taken a story that could have turned out a totally different way, and you've created a business and an inspiration for women all over the place.
Thank you. I thank my family for it. I grew up with a bunch of union refinery workers and public school teachers and Sunday school teachers, and so they always instilled a work ethic. And my phrase that I use, and I don't share it very often, but it is my mantra: if you're not giving back, you're taking too much.
I love that.
So give back.
Yeah. I love that.
And
And I
never-
think that that's the thing is, so when we met, it was very much in a context of I was sharing something about my personal
Mm-hmm.
story, and then you turned around and shared something about your personal story, and we became immediately friends. We don't get to see each other that often,
Mm-hmm. Nope.
but every time we do, it's instant. I'm like, oh, I
We're
love
like
her.
little magnets.
Yes, and I love it because I understand what it feels like to imagine someday that you might have this thing, but then to believe truthfully in your whole heart that it's not really going to happen.
And the one thing that you and I connect on, which is literally an intangible, it's unquantifiable, is a spirit of the greater good.
Yes.
And besides being something greater than yourself, if it improves you, that's wonderful. That's beautiful yourself. But what you try to do, and where I came from, the way I was raised, that's why you and I gravitate towards each other. It's because we want to do something greater than ourselves to help so many others, because we feel like with the opportunities that we've had, if it's a no-brainer to give back.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that that is what drives me. That is what drives me. And so what I was thinking is we never thought this was possible. And now we're both in a situation
Absolutely.
where we own our own businesses. I mean, here I am on my own podcast. And it's funny to think about the fact that we never thought it was possible, but now we have a platform. And now we can give back. And I think what I wanted to do in having you on the show was add value to our listeners, for them to be inspired by the fact that not only could they do the same thing,
Absolutely,
but also if they're in a position where things are rough and they need somebody to show them their way, and they're interested in soaps and they're interested in working with their hands, this is the place to get started, because there's only one location, meaning there's plenty of opportunity for growth.
Yes, absolutely. One thing that I would say to the listeners is this: if you feel like you don't have something to give back, you are absolutely wrong. Because all it takes is looking somebody who other people will not in the eye, show them the respect, smile.
Value them.
You give them value because you show them that they matter, sometimes when they don't think they do. So you might not have a dime to your name, but you have value inside of you that you can share with others. And that's just the beginning. And then if you
Once you watch them after they grow.
Oh my goodness, I've had such a pleasure of actually feeding off so many wonderful people in this state that have given me direction, mentorship, suggestions, and also, atta girls, keep going, don't stop, just keep doing you. It's okay. I'm the feisty redhead. I'm a lot to deal with, as the production team will tell you. But I love people and I value them.
Yes.
And I don't believe in shortchanging people or being dismissing them, because that's just not right, because I've been dismissed.
Right.
I've been on that end. I've been literally homeless where my house was foreclosed on. I didn't have utilities, and I ran a power cord across the street to my neighbors so I could plug in a fridge and keep it open in August. And open the door so I could actually have one room that was kind of cool.
And I bet if anybody walking by needed a place to stay, you'd open the door too.
Always did.
Of course, the door's already open, so they can come on
When
in.
I lived in Southwest Little Rock over 10 years ago, there would be kids whose parents would kick them out of the house. They were, teenagers and going through everything. And they would come over and go, Miss Julie, mind if I crash on the couch tonight? Mom kicked me out. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Have you eaten?
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's make you something.
It's too bad you didn't have soap back then, because I bet teenage boys don't smell real good in a hot house.
Teenagers don't. Well, no, they don't.
Well, here's the thing. I think the most important thing that I could at least extend as far as an opportunity with you being on the podcast and having this opportunity to say something directly to women who have been in that position, or women who are maybe on the other side of it. Maybe they've already risen up and they've run their business and they've got all this income coming in, but they're not in touch with themselves. They're not in touch with the passion, right? Because the whole thing that woke you up into this position is the fact that you realized you had something to offer that other people needed to get a hold of. Everybody has that.
Everybody has something
How would you
of value.
encourage them to find it?
When you sit alone, or when you have a quiet moment, whether it's like in a car or at your home or in the bedroom, what does your mind gravitate to that makes you happy? What gives you momentum? Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it painting? Is it sculpting? Is it making things? Is it giving things? Is it cooking? It's something. It is there.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself to acknowledge it and then say, I'd like to explore that more. A lot of people talk about self-care.
We don't give ourselves care.
You know how you take care of yourself? By acknowledging what you need. And everybody needs an actual artistic outlet. And artistry can be in a variety of things, whether it's technical, literature.
I never thought about
Culinary.
soap being artistic till I met you.
Neither did I.
I'm sorry. And that's what's interesting is that you're like, that's exactly it. You never thought about it until you got alone for a minute.
And then I branched out into things that I thought I'd never make in bath products that I thought were just too beyond my skill set. And it's personally surprised me because I've seen things that I would have shortchanged myself on a little bit, but given the opportunity to pursue it just a little bit and tweak it, I'm able to accomplish things, and it blows my mind. And that's all I want to do is share. I work with Women and Children First here in Central Arkansas. We do Valentine's Day parties so they can give and make their own soap so they can give them to each, the parents can give them to their kids and the kids can give them to their parents. They have something to show that they love each other. Easter, you name it, we do all kinds of stuff. I love doing those things.
I'm so excited to hear that because Jessica and I have a meeting coming up for her to come on the podcast and talk about Women and Children First and everything it does here for the women who need it here. And then same with our house. And we're kind of trying to find a way to create some sort of event or chain of events around the community.
I'm in.
Yeah, I know you are.
That's so in.
Surprise! That's why you're here. No,
if you're not giving back, you're taking too much.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to make that your tagline because peace, love, and sense is great, but I like that one even better.
I'll trademark it in a little bit. Don't air this yet.
Yes, and I think that's the wonderful thing about this is that we have all of these opportunities and all of these women and all of these people, and not just women. We have other people that own businesses here too that are men, but whatever. The point is we have a huge group of people who have built on the success of figuring out what they're passionate about, and now they've arrived at the intersection of this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I'm good at, and it gives somebody something to hold on to hope-wise.
And the drive that powers, that's very similar between you and I, that powers both of us, is not age specific. It's not gender specific. It's a fire. It is a blue flame, so hot, and you can see it in other people. You gravitate towards those that you see. And if you don't have it and you see it in somebody, tell them or gravitate towards them. And if you're not sure what is driving you, bet you the blue flame will tell you what it is. Because they'll be able to see it before maybe you might.
I love that you said that, and I think that's one of the biggest things that you could have brought to the podcast today as far as value goes, because one of the things we saw with each other was across the room, like, I don't know you, and you don't know me, what can I add to you?
Over 1,000 square feet away, you came to me, and I saw you come into me. We did a beeline.
Yep.
And it's like, I've heard about you, I've seen you, we need to talk. I'm like, done.
Yep.
Blue flame, we're good.
Yeah, and I like the blue, but that's the thing that really gets me about the whole situation is that we had never met. We didn't have anything in common. We are a few years apart, maybe 2 or 3, age-wise. We are in a situation where we come from different walks of life, but we've shared very similar experiences and have very similar stories. We've been in the same type of patterned behavior in certain areas of our life over and over again, and here we are. We did it.
Yep.
And how we did it was we really believed in each other and ourselves, and I think that's what
launching pad.
Yes, I want everybody to listen to.
There's people talk about there's a lot of women in business who speak about leaning in, and as much as I'm not going to diminish that thought process or that movement. My theory is I don't believe in leaning in. I believe in leaping in, because when you leap, you're going either the same level, you're going all the way in, and you're either going to land at the same level or up. Because when you leap, you never fall. What are you going to do? Start back at the beginning? You've already been there. You know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So leap. Do it. Leap. You'll leap forward, and you'll either go up or straight ahead. Either way, it's a good forward momentum.
I love that. That's my favorite message of the day. I really truly believe you have to make a decision and then you just jump towards that thing as hard and as fast as you can. And what is meant for you will find you. I mean, birds don't fly because they walk to the edge of a cliff and they decide to walk down it. They just jump off the edge, spread their wings, and see what happens.
I mean, we have training wheels on our bicycles for a reason, but then we took them off for a reason too.
Yep.
Because it felt like we had the chance to do it right. And that's all you have to do is just take the chance and leap.
Well, here's one thing I want to take a chance to go through before we end this episode, because you are extremely inspiring, motivating. I'm sure people that listening to this are probably going, man, you know what? I don't want to drive to my crappy corporate job today. I'm going to go home and figure out what I'm passionate about.
I've done that crappy corporate job.
Yeah, me too.
For a long time.
We're never doing it again, corporate America. But Before you go, I want you to go ahead and go through some of the things that you're going to be doing in this coming, I would say 6 to 8 to 10 months, because you have got, I know the Cave City Watermelon thing coming up.
That's next weekend. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then there's going to be several different festivals and things that you're doing through the years. Tell us some of the events that we can find you at, come look for you at, and then, of course, give us your location, your Facebook, all that information on where to find Julie.
Here we go. My name is Julie Duvall, owner of the cottage at Sunny Gap. The business website is sunnygap.com. The best way to find up-to-date information on any events and expos or fundraising events that that myself and the business will be participating in is through our Facebook page, The Cottage at Sunny Gap. That's probably the most up-to-date information. Or the Instagram page, Sunny Gap Cottage. Or you can email us at thecottage@sunnygap.com. And there's also, we'll message you right back. It'll usually be directly from me 99% of the time. And I'll be doing a lot of things here in Arkansas. I'm always open if there's opportunities to go to larger events out of state or regional that also have a base to where they give back to the community. I'm always interested.
Well, I know that we're going to be planning an event together. She does not know this yet, but I'm about to tell her that we are planning an event over at Diamond Head Country Club, which we are in the process of developing that community. And we have created an event called Diamond Head's a Girl's Best Friend. And the whole event is centered around women doing self-care while their men play golf and leave us alone. So we're going to do all the things, soap and sugar scrub, pedicures, manicures, facials, the whole deal. So if you guys want to know more about that or get your husband some custom golf ball soaps, this is the woman you need to talk to.
Oh, think about it. Champagne and strawberry sugar scrub.
And champagne and strawberries.
And champagne and strawberries. Jamie will take care of that. I'll bring the champagne and strawberry soap. And I'll also do the scrubs and then diamond soaps as well, which they're beautiful diamonds. And
Yes.
Clear and all kinds of colors.
Yes. And if you have been a guest in any of my listed homes, I know in my regular day job, I sell real estate and I keep little bluebirds on the soap dishes in all the houses that I like to sell. Also in my own home, people always come by and say, oh, there's birds everywhere. I'm like, yeah, there's soap too. They double as soap. So
I'm guilty.
Yes. And so I just want to express again just how thankful I am for your time and your friendship and the opportunity to speak with you in this way so that I can share your message with all of our listeners and add value to this block that we call Little Rock.
This opportunity is not lost on me, and I truly appreciate it. And I really thank you, the production staff, and your listeners for the opportunity. Because remember, if you're not giving back, you're taking too much.
Yes, and I'm finished on that. But before I go, I want to say those of you who are out of state that listen to us or out of other countries, we appreciate your listenership. But if you have not taken part in some of the things that we have showcased here in Arkansas, this is one that you can have mailed out. So if you would like to, if you want to get some of these soaps, if you want to try it, if you'll shoot us a message to the Blog Talk page or to the Sunny Gap page, we'll be happy to send you out on this special episode. I will be happy to mail you out a soap on behalf of the Blog Talk and make sure that we get this exposed opportunity here for the Sunny Gap. So if you're out of state and you're interested in trying these soaps, you want to see what Arkansas is all about, you're hosting an event, you maybe want to see if this is the right kind of participant for your festival, give us a shout. We'll mail one out to you. You can try it and we'll sell you on Julie.
You know what? I'll even put one on me as well.
There you go. 2 soaps for the price of 1.
Woohoo.
All right. Thanks you for
a lot.
participating. All right. Blog Talk, Little Rock, we're out.